to the awesome. All right, so we are recording, and this is kind of maybe step two, if you will, part two of a training that we did last week, which later I decided to call it "How to Never Run Out of People." Right? How to never run out of people, and then we jumped into ClubHouse. So we're going to jump. I've written down a few things today that we want to make sure that we get through, that we address, that we look at, that we quote unquote train on. Hopefully, if you're watching this, you've been able to dive into ClubHouse a little. We recommended a couple of steps. We're going to review those today, and then I've got at least 5 things on my list that we're going to discuss. Any questions that you have, this is totally informal. So when we're talking about bios, if you want to ask a question about bios, let's do that. This is much better when we all kind of do it together, and your questions and perspective is absolutely invaluable. So let's jump in. I'm going to do a screen share just because we're going to get so much more out of this meeting if we're looking at it and looking at the screens together. So let me do a quick screen share and share my screen. Total start, 3, 2, 1, blast off. All right, boom, we're here. Let's go to ClubHouse. And Vivian, are you getting some background noise from me? Because I got a couple of things going on. Are we good?
No, Seth, you're loud and clear.
Okay, perfect. I'm in a ClubHouse room right now as we're speaking, but I'm not speaking. I'm on the stage, and so I'm just making sure that that's not coming through. So let's do this. Let's start at the beginning. Bring people up to speed. If you have not downloaded this app called ClubHouse, then you need to do that. So if you go to the App Store on Apple platform or the Google Play Store, and you type in ClubHouse or ClubHouse drop-in audio chat, okay, it's going to take you to an app that looks like this one there at the top. Now, depending on when you're listening to this, the picture here, the icon could be different. Every month or two, they change the profile pic of on the ClubHouse social networking app to a different pic. All right, that's something that you don't get in most apps. So you might be wondering, and they're almost always sepia, or black and white sepia, and they're individual, right? So hold on just a sec. Bear with me just a sec. Okay, so, and welcome Lillian. Yes, we definitely need you here. Thanks for dropping in. So if ClubHouse app doesn't look like this, it could still be ClubHouse. So beware. But it's usually a black and white picture, and they actually take the actual photo, a profile pic of some random user, right? And they make that person the icon, if you will, of ClubHouse for some indefinite, unspecified amount of time, a month or two. So here's something you need to know. You can't just go get this app on your own. If you go download ClubHouse right now, it's going to say, hey, guess what? You have to have an invitation to be here. And so we're going to put you in a holding tank, and you're just going to sit around kind of in a holding tank there. Okay. You have to be invited to the app. So if you need somebody to invite you, then DM one of us, DM me, and we can find somebody who has some invitations so that you can get in the app. I will say this: I've had friends who have downloaded the app, if you will, put their, raised their hand and say, I want to be part of it. And then what ClubHouse does is it recognizes that that person was actually in my contacts, like the contacts in my phone. And ClubHouse reached out to me. Well, when I opened ClubHouse, I had a notification and it said, hey, by the way, Cindy Lou Who wants to join ClubHouse. Do you want to let her in? Right? Since I'm a member. It's a members only kind of a platform. And you can let her in without using one of your limited invitations, right? So, but the fastest way is to get somebody to invite you in. So let's say that you download that, you're in, let's go to the app. Okay. And we're going to go here to my bio because the step one, first thing we're going to work on today is to look at your bio. Now, one thing I'm going to say is the first 3 lines, the first 2 to 3 lines of your bio are high value, intense value real estate. You want to make sure that those pop. And I was so happy with mine 3, 4, 5 months ago when I created it. I loved it. And now I'm thinking, how do I need to change it? How do I need to upgrade it? But let's just talk about the principles of the first 2 to 3 lines. These lines are what most people are going to see when they click on your picture. I'm going to show you what that looks like. So right now you can see I'm actually in this room. You can see me. I'm on the stage in this room. But let's go. Let me actually just go to the people who are following me. Okay, there. Do you see? All these are people who followed me today, by the way. Every single one of these people on Clubhouse followed me today. Yes, Vivian, you have a question?
We can hear your CH background.
All right, let me move it. Hold on. I was worried about that. Thanks, Vivian. So these people all followed me today. There's our very own Aaron Dabney, second from the top. He's one of our LifeVantage rock stars in Texas, who just got on Clubhouse, by the way, from our training last week. So congrats, Aaron, little shout out. Do you see that under his name is, you know, a line and a half, 2 lines of his, you know, the first part of his bio. Now look at the person below that, Garrett. Garrett followed me today, but Garrett doesn't have a bio up there. So what do I know about Garrett? Very little, right? Almost nothing. Here's one of the strategies, and this is a business strategy, it's just a life strategy. If you want to help people, typically they have to know you, like you, and trust you. So if they don't know anything about you, it's hard to get to the like and trust. So that's why this is what a lot of people will see when you follow them. They're going to see just this little blib about you. So you want to make sure that it pops. I mean, if I just pop at this, Jackie, serial entrepreneur, award-winning CEO. Okay, I kind of get a feel for what she's doing. Aaron, I'm a flight school owner, 4-time master flight instructor. Boom. So I kind of know, and look, you see how his picture, he's got a nice picture, smiling picture. It's his face. And you can see also how his picture and his bio, those first 2 lines are kind of lining up. Now I have context to why he's got the headphones and the headset on, right? And you can just kind of look down. There's Dylan toward the bottom with the orange background. He's a real estate entrepreneur. I mean, you want to get an idea about a couple of things maybe. And here's my strategy. This is my strategy. There are various strategies. One of them is to tell people what or who you help, right? So who are you helping? You could also put what you do, right? I chose to do a who I'm helping. That's kind of that's my first 3 lines. I want to look at this in a different way. Let's say I'm actually going to go into this room. I think it'll let me without making me. I'm going to go back. I'm double in to the room that I'm already in. But if I click on Daniel here, I'm at the very top. Daniel and Kate, the 2 people at the top left, are some friends of mine through Clubhouse. Okay. They started this club called What It Takes to Run a $1 Million Business. And I do rooms with them. If I click on Daniel, watch this, boom. So this is what happens. I can see how many followers he has, you know, how many are following, how many he's following. And guess what I see? I see his first 2 lines, right, of his bio. And so I know that Daniel's on a mission to inspire 4 million entrepreneurs in 2021 and 100 million people, ... right? So if that's caught me, I might click on that and see the rest of his bio. You can see how important this 3 lines are. I would probably not recommend you say something like, hi, my name is Seth. I live in Spanish Fork, Utah. And one of the things that I'm really excited about, and then I just used up my 2 lines, right? You want to catch people. You want to inspire people. You want to pop people. You want to just, hey, kind of a thing. So now if I click on Daniel's, if I just click anywhere in there, right? Now it's going to open up the rest of his bio. And now I can see all these other things about him, right? Let me give you another example. I'm actually going to search for somebody. Oh, I better write that down. Searching. Okay. I'm going to search for Mary Lynn. Mary Lynn helped us do this meeting, this training. So Mary Lynn Lawrence. Let me just go back here first. Okay. So I searched Mary Lynn in ClubHouse. You can search by first name. And I'm seeing just her first line. Do you see how important the first 3 lines, the first 2 lines, the first line is? Now look at this. She's got, I'm kind of giving an idea about Mary Lynn. She says, no success can compensate for failure. Boom. And I know that those words, no success, does that catch you? It's like she has something to say. And it's kind of like, well, what is she talking about? So if I click on her, now I'm going to see the rest of her bio, right? Oh, no success can compensate for failure to care for your body. Now, I think that's an awesome, this is new. I haven't seen Mary Lynn's redone bio recently. She's been on ClubHouse for several months, and we're doing a lot of work together. She's on the team. But when I saw this recently, I was like, wow, boom, this really caught me. Makes me want to, you know what it makes me want to do? Makes me want to change and enhance. But one of the things I want to direct you to is Mary Lynn has caught us with the first line, the first 2 lines, right? And basically what she said is, she hasn't said what she does. Again, this is her strategy, wasn't saying what she does or who she's helping or how she does it. She basically brought a big conundrum, a big problem. And that is what? I don't care what's going on in your life. If you're not healthy, if your body's not healthy, you got a big problem, right? It's all for naught, right? And you're so stinking busy and you're not taking care of your body that you're in a conundrum, right? So that leads you to say, well, wait a second. If she's typing this, then she must know something I don't know. Anyway, I just thought this was a great way. By the way, there's no just one way to do these bios successfully. I looked at tons of people's bios. I copied, I took, I pasted, I ran through, took this, I discarded that. It's got to be your own. It's as unique as you, but I am teaching you some strategies. Number 1, make your first 2 to 3 lines count. Notice how she's used some emoji, right? You'll notice mine. I've got emoji in my first 2 lines, not too many, by the way, notice. Notice that she's used bold text or all caps because you want things to, this is not starting your high school thesis, right? On Shakespeare, right? You're not writing here. You're creating marketing, copy. So number 1, really get those first 3 things down. Number 2, which really probably should be number 1, is what do you want to accomplish? What do you want to accomplish in this bio, right? Who are you? And this comes back to what we've been talking about on all of our social media platforms. Like, who am I? What do I stand for? And how am I helping people? I often say, who are you? What do you do? And why is it so important, right? This comes down to understanding who your ideal, who your raving fans are, Who's your target audience? You know, who is your avatar? Who is that person? Okay. Who's that person? Let me ask you this. You can drop this in the chat box or you can answer. Do you get an idea? Do you get an idea just reading the first 3 lines of Mary Lynn's bio? Do you start to get an idea about who her avatar is, who she's looking for? Do you know who she's looking for? Yeah, I mean, you've kind of started. That's one beautiful thing about how she started this is, you know, you starting to see who her avatar is. Let me go out and come back in. If you go to me, all right, reading my first 3 lines, I'm helping women build life and financial independence. Do you kind of, are you starting to get an idea about who my target audience is, who my avatar is? Yeah, absolutely. Okay. So that's the first thing that we want to start looking at in your bio. Let's go to look one more. Let's look at Lillian, Merida, Lillian. There she is. Okay. Here's Lillian's entire first line. And this is a strategy that she created. Look, that you notice how it doesn't go on. It's not like a sentence that goes on that ends in a ... It's a one-liner. What does Lillian do? Do you know who her target audience is? Do you know who her avatar is? Anybody associated with dogs and health, right? Canine biohacker. If I click on hers, brings that up. Canine biohacker. She's got emoji. I mean, she is dog on these emojis. Okay. She's used it very effectively. You can tell that she designed that to show up on the page. And like so much of what you do with your bio is the content, super important. And we're getting that. I know what she does and I know what her mission is. Look at this. I mean, she has put it out there. I'm a canine biohacker and my mission is to get dogs off of junk, pesticides, and drugs, right? Boom. And then she goes into how I do that right and living longer and NRF2 and nutrigenomics and my vision. But you notice in her first line, her first 3 lines, she has put down her avatar. Who's she looking for? She's looking for people who value dogs, right? Who value canines, who value their health beyond just junk products. So great job, Lillian. So think about your avatar, okay? The next thing I want to talk about with your bio is after, again, you know who you're talking to, is breaking it up. Oh, what I was just saying a minute ago. Yes, it's so important having the content, knowing who you're talking to, knowing what you're saying to them, who you are, what you do, why it's so important, how you're doing it, your mission, okay? But how it looks is so important, right? Lillian has put time how this looks. And she made sure it looks good here in the bio. And then it looks good on when it shows as 1 line and when it shows as 2 lines. You want to kind of go look at you on ClubHouse. And frankly, this transfers to every other platform, right? On Facebook, you should know what your Facebook profile looks like on a desktop. You should know what it looks like on a tablet. You should know what it looks like on your mobile phone because they actually show up differently. And a picture that you thought looked amazing, your cover photo, for example, you know, on your desktop actually doesn't look good, and half your face is covered when you get it onto your mobile phone. So the same with a platform like this. You're seeing a full bio, you're seeing the 1-liner when they search for you. When they punch on your face, they're seeing the 2 lines or the 3 lines. So take a look around, make sure that as important as the content is, if it's not being communicated and shown in the right way, that can really detract from your message. Okay, so moving on, emojis. Yes, look how Lillian has used emojis, and these are emojis that really tie into what you're doing, right? She talks about NRF2 and science and she's got DNA and microscopes. Would you like a copy, like copying a key, right? Do you want to live longer? I mean, these emojis do things. She's like, that is outrageous, all caps. And then she's got the feelings. The emojis are there to communicate emotions as well. So she's done just, I think, a real great job of doing this. Now, look, so you kind of get her, we're just looking at a couple of examples here, but she's got her first page, and then look, she's got a break. Under those dog emojis, how she's got full lines. She put a full line in there, and it's kind of like it's a thought break. Oops. Which gets your brain to stop and to refocus. If you are interested in transitioning or adding raw ingredients to your dog's diet, DM me for a free PDF to help you get started, right? So breaks, paragraphs can be breaks. Here, spacing can be breaks. Here, she's used actual lines to really create a break to bring the focus in. Notice this in her bio, she's got something for free. And she's inviting the person to DM me. If you want to do this, in this case, transitioning to raw ingredients in your dog food, DM me, because I'm going to give it to you, right? She's got another break. Hey, are you intrigued about, maybe where your interest is in nutrigenomics in your animals? DM me, and I can add you, basically giving you something else for free, to my canine Facebook group, right? She is throwing out offers here, but you don't feel like she's saying, buy my product. Not saying that would be a bad strategy, but I'm just noticing very much so that, hey, she's like, listen, if you want this, my expert information, because I'm an expert in the field, reach out to me and I'll give it to you. Okay. At the bottom, my purpose on ClubHouse. So, wow, she just goes right into ClubHouse. And then, she's got other emojis about what she's doing, internationally. So you kind of just see how, and then you get to the bottom. Look at this. Would you like to find out if genetic activation is a good fit for your animals? DM me, right? I mean, she's got several offers there saying, here's how you can get a hold of me if this is what you want. And this is talking directly to who? I mean, Lillian's doing a great job of talking to her avatar, right? At the bottom, she's then got a bunch of stuff about herself, her family, where she's from. And then this is one of the strategies I employed at the very bottom. I mean, listen, if somebody's read through all of that stuff, they're reading a lot. It's at this point, I think it's totally appropriate to put in a paragraph, right? She's gone in here then and said, hey, now she's gone into a paragraph full-on story. I would never recommend this probably in the first part of your bio, because it's like people don't have time. They don't, most people aren't reading your bio. Most people, the vast majority, are just skimming it. And that's why emojis and bullet points and breaking and, really thought bites are so important. If somebody's gotten down this far and they're interested, guess what? Throw the story on them. I have this exact layout, putting these paragraphs. I've got a paragraph, the two things that I talk about. The two things I talk about, wellness and business, entrepreneurship. I have two full-on stories, right? Paragraphs in there. And I've had people, a few, who've actually reached out to me and said, hey, I really resonated with your story about your grandfather. There's no way you know the story about my grandfather unless you went and read that paragraph, right? Hey, I really resonated with your story about women and helping women. So at this point, I don't mind a very short paragraph. These are short paragraphs, right? Those are two sentence paragraphs done beautifully. And then she's got, again, importantly, there at the bottom, how to get a hold of her on Instagram. Okay. So that is a bio. I'm going to go back and we'll jump to my bio really quickly as well. Again, there's no one right way to do this. I've got my tag. I've got my avatar. I'm talking to my avatar. I'm helping women And I'm going to, based on what I've seen with Lillian and based on what I'm seeing with Mary Lynn, and just the more I do this, right? I had a sharp tool, and now that I'm using it more, I can sharpen it. I'm going to modify this. I'm probably going to get into the health side of things, because I don't know if the life independence really is fully communicating my message. I might have to get into biohacking or something with wellness or something. So I'm going to change this up, but I'm going to still be true to my mission to create women-led entrepreneurial wellness teams right around the world. And then you can see how I've broken it up. People know who I am. And here I'm the founder of Creating Entrepreneurs Online and CEO Women, right? I'm wanting to put this message out. I then went into bullet points, and you'll notice that I emojied every one of these bullet points. Oops. So that the bullet point and the emoji talk to each other. People get an idea about who I am. Oh, okay, this is a Jesus lover. This is a faith guy. This is a Christian dude. All right. He's a hot entrepreneur. He's into anti-aging, biohacking. He's into storytelling and wellness. So you get an idea in about 5 sentences and 5 lines, a pretty good idea about what I do. Okay. Then I'm going to hit you with these check marks, which are boom, boom, boom. This is what I've done in the business world, right? I'm going to throw, like, this is my resume. This is why you should listen to me, right, in the business world. Okay. Then I'm like, how can I help you? You want to collaborate? I love collaborating and helping people and working. Oops, I scrolled too far. Working with people on ClubHouse. Let's do something together. And, then I've put the subjects that maybe I've got expertise in. Not so many. I'm not going to add any more, because it's like, okay, I'm going to be an expert in 37 things. I'm going to really limit it. Okay. And so you can kind of see there, I get a lot of people, because I work with women, right? Because I say I help women. I get a lot of people thinking I'm a women's coach. And so I went on my thing and I said, listen, I am not a business coach. I'm actually an entrepreneur. That's all I do. I build businesses, right? And then I talk about my stories in wellness and business, and there you have it. And then at the bottom, let me get to this. What I don't have here that I think that Mary Lynn did really well, and Lillian, is an offer. So it's time for me to go back here and incorporate, spice this up and incorporate an offer, right? Like I'm working on a document, 7 steps to biohacking your biology, right? 7 easy steps to actually be healthier today and be younger next year. Of course, guess what one of those is? Activation, right? Guess what another one of those might be? Supplementation and gut health, right? So they're going to I'm interweaving what we do with our products in LifeVantage. It's not just DM me and I'll show you my favorite product in the world, or DM me if you want to buy my product. That's just not savvy enough. But DM me if you want to know, I could do, DM me if you want to know the three genetic activators that I teach, biohackers all around the world. You have to do it in a way that you're giving them value, not just DM me if you want to buy my stuff, right? ClubHouse, you can move fast. You can move faster, but it's not a sales platform. Yes, Lillian.
So, okay. So on the bio, what I wanted to, there's actually ClubHouse rooms that will help you with your bio. And the most important thing is just put something, because it's a work in progress. You can change it. And people even change the photos. So like I'm in a lot of dog rooms and people put pictures of their dogs and then they switch around. And I've been in places where they're talking about, flowers or landscape, and you can change the picture. So don't think you have to have it perfect. Like just put something out there and then you can change it. It's a work in progress. And in one of those rooms, I heard people saying, oh, your bio should be short, your bio should be long. And what resonated with me was this person said, if ClubHouse is giving you all that space to write, it means you can use it. You can use it or not use it, but don't think, oh, it has to be 3 paragraphs. If you want to write 10 paragraphs, it's like what you said. If people want to read all the way down, they read it. If they don't, they don't. Everybody knows the the Instagram link is all the way to the bottom. So sometimes I do that. I just skim through the first few things and then I go straight to the bottom, find their Instagram link, and that's how I connect to them. And then something that I wanted to add on the side, this might not be if you're starting out, but for those of you that are already doing something, I work with another lady that's an intuitive coach, and I read her today what Deb had us do about our e-card. And she was doing like backflips. She was like, that's it. That needs to go on your ClubHouse bio like today. That is you. That is what you do. It says there who you help. So that's just for those of you that have been working on your e-card, to put it on ClubHouse, and that's your bio. And then you can, you can add the emojis, you can add whatever you want to add later. But I wanted to give that tip. And then the other thing, this might be more work for you, Seth. So she said, you need to create an email list so that you, after every room, you say, if you want to be on my email list on how to, biohack your dog, send me a DM and I'll add you. Send me a DM with your email. And we could put people straight into, or some people could put people straight into the funnel on that, without having, how we have that, you have the biohacking or the money. So I've started to work on a series of emails to get people, talking about dogs and gradually move them into biohacking. So I think we can do that through Linktree also, but it's not a web page. It's because what she mentioned is, if you have their email, then you have them, then you have their information, and say that if people give you their email, the level of trust has gone up. And then you can start talking about other things and, gradually keep on building that relationship and say, I'm not going to bombard you. It's going to be like once a week or once a month or something. And then we could be sending those emails out. So I just wanted to put that out there.
Who was it that was sharing this, that you're sharing this from?
I'm working with a lady called Susan Mullen, and we do a room every Thursday. I met her on ClubHouse. We do a room together every Thursday on the spiritual connection between animals and humans. And we've developed a good friendship. So she did a reading for one of my dogs, and then with the information that was conveyed through that reading was just amazing. So I wanted to do a reading for myself. So we did it. And then she wrote like 4 pages of stuff. And then she said, if you want to talk, so to clarify. So that's what we did today. And she said, yes, this is your path. This is what you need to do. There's lots of information, whether you,
I'm really intrigued by
believe in it.
What you were saying was really kind of resonating with me, in that maybe we'll get more people into the CEO funnel with that first step ABC by, because I tried it, maybe not in the right way or whatever, but, to add the link to a social media, like, hey, here's, click on this, and try and get them in. And Seth straightened me out that, it's good to use it, but maybe that's not the very, very first thing. You have a conversation with the people first. But I'm just thinking, with this whole idea you're talking about, maybe this is a way to, by capturing their email, with their permission, we're putting them in, versus kind of like, hey, call me. Like you meet someone in a grocery store and you say, oh yeah, call me. And the odds are way down versus if you get their phone number and you call them. But I am complete.
Yeah. But you see, I'm going a little bit on the back door, because what I'm doing is, trust me with the information that I have for dogs, and then it's going to eventually funnel into activation because, I use it for the dog. So I don't want to derail the training, but it's just, it's part of a call to action. It's saying, if you want more of what I know, I can help you. But that's why we need to be clear on what people will help, because we don't want to resonate with everybody. We just want to resonate with the people that are ready, right? So what you're trying to do is telling people, okay, if you've heard me talk for an hour, you see value in what I say. So if you want to be receiving more information once a week, then give me your email. And if not, don't. So it's on them. So that was the thought. But my thought process is now, okay, if we do rooms specifically, because like Vivian and I do a room and we sometimes talk openly about what an RF2 is, then that would be great. Say, hey, we send an email, if you want to know more, let us know. And then we don't have to start with necessarily with we already have it. It's already created in CEO. We just need their email and manually put it in. So
Awesome.
this is Liliana Lynn
Thanks,
speaking.
Liliane. Sorry. A little lag. So we talked a lot about bios. Okay, we talked a lot about bios. And Liliane's right. Just get your bio in. If you have an e-card, get your e-card in as a bio. You can change it. Get your bio in. Focus on the first 3 lines, right? You got to highlight that. Then go to spacing and emojis, etc. Here's advanced strategy. Depending on the rooms you're in, you can have multiple bios. So if you're going into a room on business, you could actually create a business bio. And when you go into that room, then you edit, you just copy and paste, like you keep it in a different file in a notes section of your phone, right? And if you're going into a room about biohacking, then maybe you go straight biohacking bio, boom, and you copy and paste it, right? I know people who do that. They might change their picture depending on where they're going. I don't do that most of the time. Sometimes I do. I used to. I don't mess with them most of the time now, but that's a strategy as well. Let me get to Robin's quick questions, and then we've only done 1 of 5 things to talk about. So I'm going to try to pick up my own pace. But Robin asks a question in the chat box. Are people on Clubhouse using the term biohacker who are not with LifeVantage? Okay, watch this. On the screen, I'm going to go search, top left-hand corner, hit the magnifying glass, search biohacker. Boom. Look, well, I'm just going to type biohack. You could put biohacker too. All of these people on Clubhouse, and there are very few people. Okay, Lisa Huey, she's in LifeVantage. There aren't very many people who are in LifeVantage, and on Clubhouse, Tara is. Look, all these people have the word biohack in their either their name, right? There's somebody from Russia, it looks like, Eastern Bloc countries, or in their bios. Folks, look, I'm just scrolling. I'm just scrolling and scrolling and scrolling and scrolling and scrolling. Okay. So in answer to your question, there are a lot of people who biohacking is a thing, right? Back to your other question, Robin, what are these icons, these club icons in the bottom of my bio? So you can join clubs in all these at the bottom here. These are clubs that I've joined: Biohacking Club, Network Marketing Club, Biohacking Dog Club. I don't know. I mean, there's all kinds of Business 101, the Hustle House, Change Your Game. I mean, these are just different clubs that I'm part of. So what determines your hallway right here? I'm in the hallway right now. These are the rooms that I'm seeing. Okay. What determines my hallway are the interests that I put in my settings, the people that I follow, and I think the clubs that I'm associated with, something like that. Okay. So your hallway, because you're going to have different interests. By the way, I didn't put tons and tons of interests. I'll show you how to modify that. You click on your icon, click on the top right-hand corner on the gear, the settings thing. You can go in here and change settings. Interests there. I have 35. Wow, that's more than I thought I did. But you can go in here and you can highlight any of the interests. So in the wellness world, right, I did half of them because I'm not interested. I don't want to be in every single conversation about everything. I can't. Entertainment, I was just in, in a few. Knowledge, okay, I can delete some of these. Look, I'm in a third of those, maybe a quarter of them. places. I don't know why Atlanta, Georgia's on there. I'm going to take it off. Okay. My hallway is going to change. Hanging out, I'm not in any of those. Sports, I'm in maybe a little. I don't even do anything in sports on there on Clubhouse. I'm going to unhighlight that. Arts, okay, maybe I have a few interests in arts. Like I'm getting specific about the things that really interest me. You know, and sometimes people say, well, I could help anybody in anything and everywhere. You are just not going to get very far if you're trying to talk to everybody about everything, every time, everywhere, right? World affairs, well, I only put economics because economics leads to business, right? So languages, all these different options, okay? I'm involved in a few, right? I'm interested in a few. That's what determines your hallway and the rooms that you're going to see and the people that you follow. All right, let's get to the next thing. We talked about the bio. Last thing I want to say about the bio is you go to the bottom of the bio and you can link an Instagram account. It is crucial if you're using Clubhouse that you have an Instagram account. Now, you don't have to be building your Instagram account necessarily. It helps if you would be. So click on my channel there by Seth Mulder CEO. Then it takes that person automatically to my Instagram account right there, right? And they're going to see all my posts. Most importantly, they can message me. Now, it's not going to show message here because this is my own account. But let's say that I was looking at somebody else. Let's go to somebody else's. Let's go to somebody who's following me. Let's go to Aaron. Let's go to somebody here. Maria. Okay. Maria. She followed me today. We are in a room together. I'm going to click on her handle and that opens up her Instagram account. And look, she doesn't even have any posts. So she hasn't even been using Instagram as posts, but I can message her, right? And that's critical. I click on message and you can see that we've already got a thread going today, right? She's a new lead and I'm starting to nurture that lead. So you got to have an Instagram account or else you're not going to be able to harvest these relationships. Now, I will tell you, it is smart to, if you're going to start a social media account with pictures, Instagram's a great place to do it because look, I've got 1,600 followers. I didn't have 1,600 followers on Instagram when I started Clubhouse, but I have a lot of people who have started to follow me. I'm looking for my heart. Look, okay, these two ladies who followed me today, new activity. Tammy Suzanne 316 started following you. Guess what? That's from Clubhouse. Jackie Brannigan, she just followed me on Clubhouse today and followed me on Instagram. The real Ali Sharaki, same with him. Same with Christian, same with Rosa, same with Guman Simar. All of these people were in a room that I was in today. Not only did they follow me on Clubhouse, but they followed me on Instagram. Okay, so I'm building, Clubhouse is helping me build my Instagram account as well. These people that you see in here, Audacious Mama, she's a new follower. She's liking some of my photos. All this stuff is coming from Clubhouse, not necessarily my Instagram algorithm. So that's another powerful thing about the platform. Okay, we talked about settings. We talked about Instagram. We talked about bio. So let's get into when people follow you. Okay, when people follow you, you want to have a strategy to connect with these people. It's not just enough that they follow you. You got to then follow them back. And I don't mean just follow them on Clubhouse. You'll see that I don't follow everybody that follows me. How can you tell that? Because I'm following 593 people on this app and I've got 3,700 following me. So it's like 1 out of every 7 people that follows me, I follow them. Okay? So I'm also selective. I'm not just following everybody and I'm not just saying, you follow me, I'll follow you. That doesn't necessarily have any meaning. I'm looking for meaningful connection. I'm looking for my avatar, right? So let me show you this. So you can do this, by the way, with those that you are following and those who are following you. So I will do the same strategy that I'm about to show you. So I go to my followers. This first follower, Jackie Brannigan, she was actually modding a room with me today. I'm going to click on her. It goes to her bio. She's an entrepreneur, blah, blah, blah. I scroll down again. And if I don't see something that catches me in the first paragraph, the first words, I'm typically not reading the whole thing. Now, I'm not saying I should do that. I'm just like, I get so many, right? I don't sit and read all 10 people super in depth. But I bet if I did, I'd have more to talk to these people about. So maybe I need to change that, right? Quality. So here we go. I'm going to IG her. I go to her Instagram. Okay. This is also helpful because I can see what they're doing in other social media platforms. This girl has about the same number of followers that I do on Instagram. So it kind of gives me an idea about what she's doing in there. I'm going to message her. And guess what? She messaged me today before I could message her, right? She's on top of this. She says, hey, Seth, welcome to the panel. Lovely to connect. I shot back to her and I'm going to show you my system. This is what I do with every single person. Okay. Number one, I type the name and then type this phrase. Seth here, great to connect with you on CH, right? I've got that programmed in my phone. We're going to show you how to do that in just a minute, by the way. Okay. But that's like, boom. It's like hitting a key. I type in her name, exclamation point, and then Seth here, great to connect with you on CH. I don't write ClubHouse because at some point early on, their Instagram might've been dinging you or penalizing you if you were typing a lot of DMs with the word ClubHouse. So we went to using CH instead of ClubHouse. I don't know if it's changed in the recent months. But I do that on everything. And then I added this because this was unique. Hey, and it was great to mod with you today, right? And so there's something else personal that I can add. That's really helpful, by the way. Hey, it was great to mod with you in this room, or thanks for joining my younger next room, or it was great to be in the audience with you today, or it was great to be in the, the dogs health for life room today. Because as you get all these conversations going with people, you're going to forget people. So you can scroll back and it's nice to see, oh, we were in this room together, right? You've got this conversation thread. The next thing that I almost always text them is this. How are you enjoying your CH experience thus far? And how are you using it strategically in your life/business? Okay. And again, that's pre-programmed in my phone. I'll show you how I do that, but I always do that. Okay. This is my methodology for keeping, for finding for ClubHouse for finding new leads, and then Instagram for nurturing these leads. Let me go to one of these that I have been doing for a while just to show you how this works. Maybe here. Okay. So you can see at the very beginning, hey, Sherry, Seth here. Great to connect with you on CH. Same every time. Next paragraph. How are you enjoying CH? How are you using it? She gets back to me. This is March 7th, by the way. Okay. Then I respond to her. And then the next thing I always say, and you do your own thing. I'm showing you what I'm doing. You're welcome to copy what I'm doing. I'm sure you can do it and you might be able to do it better. But this is what I'm doing right now until I improve it. But one of the things that I'll ask people, again, because this is about like, how do we develop conversation? How do I help them? How do we further this? How do we nurture? Nurturing just isn't, how's your weather today, right? Knowing, liking, trusting. So then I'm like, hey, some of the best rooms or conversations that you've been, are you planning on hosting any regular rooms? Okay, boom. So I'm asking them what they've enjoyed. I'm also asking them if they're like hosting rooms, right? I want to see what they're doing on the platform. If I want to reach more people, would I be better off talking to people who host and moderate and do their own rooms and their own clubs? You better believe it. That's because they're influencing more people. Okay. So then she gets back to me and says what rooms she likes, right? She talks about, oh yeah, I'm definitely planning on hosting rooms. And then I got back to her recently and then I'm just catching up. Okay. Does that make sense? I'll show you the next thing. 3 top. So if I type 3 top, that creates another text. Hey, what are 3 topics that you're absolutely passionate about right now and that you think we could have good audience engagement and participation? Do you see how I'm wanting to collaborate with her, right? So anyway, you get an idea. I've got about 4 or 5 paragraphs, little mini paragraphs that help me start conversations and keep those conversations going in the direction that I want them to go in. Does that make sense? Okay. Okay, good. I'm getting positive from Florence. So that's what you do with these followings. Every single person that followed me today on Clubhouse, I have already reached out and I have started this process with them. Every single one of them. Okay. So critical. So critical. Okay. Let's go into this strategy I showed you with text replacement. Okay. I want to show you how I built that. So these paragraphs, and you might do your own, right? I mean, you can choose mine and copy them word for word. I don't mind. You can do your own. I'm going to take you in how to do it in an iPhone because I'm using iPhone. So I'm here at my home screen. I'm going to my settings, the gray box settings. And then I'm going to go to scroll down to general. Right there in the middle of the screen, general. Okay. Then I'm going to go to keyboard. If you see that, boom. Then at the second from the top, it says text replacement. Okay. So settings, general, keyboard, text replacement. Okay. Now this shows you what I've already set up. Okay. So there on the left, this is alphabetized for me, by the way. So I actually created more than just 3 or 4. I created a bunch and I've forgotten them, I guess. I don't use them all, but I'm going to take you through things that I've just done just to show you. So AFP. Well, let me first show you how to create one. So top right-hand corner, plus sign. I hit the plus sign and I'm going to create a phrase. All right, what's my phrase? My phrase is, since you are super interested in, and I don't even know if I'm going to use this. You're getting a stream of consciousness right here, right? Since you're super interested in health, you might want to check out a PDF my team recently put together on biohacking, ... blah, blah, blah. I'll go, but let's just say it's called 7 Steps to Biohacking, right? Blah,
You
blah,
got a
blah.
couple typos in there.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I'm not going to use it. So let's just say that I had a paragraph that I'm going to use a lot, right? Let's say that I've got an offer. Hey, if you want, hey, by the way, since you're so into health, Robin, if you want my newly released PDF on 7 steps to biohacking, just DM me biohack, right? I don't want to type that out every time. So I could have a paragraph like that, and then I give it a shortcut. So I would give it a shortcut. By the way, when you give a shortcut, make sure it's not something you typically type. So don't type the word biohack in as your shortcut. Otherwise, every time you type the word biohack into your phone, it's going to want to replace it with this entire this entire paragraph. So I might do something like, okay, since it's the 7 steps to biohack, I'm going to type 7S biohack, 7SB. Because here's the deal. Is there any time that I actually, in any of my spelling, I'm going to type the words 7, the letters 7SB? Never. So it's totally independent. I hit save and boom. Now watch this. I'm just going to go to an email. Let's say that I'm creating a new email. I'm typing somebody. Watch this. I type in 7SB and boom. Do you see there in the middle of my screen? Oops. It's brought up that entire paragraph right there. All I have to do is say, click it and boom, it just replaces it there right for me. Text replacement, guys, is the bomb, especially on social media when you're working through, when you're starting lots of new relationships and nurturing lots of new relationships. Does that make sense? So let's go to back and I'm just going to show you some of those that I've created. Okay. So AFP, right? AFP was, as far as the Philippines is concerned, you know what? I don't know what it is because it doesn't show me. So if I type it in, AFP, what's AFP? Oh, here's a big, when I'm working the Philippines, as far as the Philippines considered, I'm doing a lot of international business in the wellness industry. I'm preparing to bring something amazing to the Philippines. I'm just looking to connect with a few people, the right people in the Philippine community, internationally, and also in country. That's when I was reaching out to people on Clubhouse who had Philippine relationships. And I said, hey, I noticed that you've got, connections to the Filipino community. And they said, yeah, what's up? And then I go, boom, AFP. And then I can type it to the 7 people, right? You see what I'm saying? So powerful. You think of an idea, one powerful idea once, and then you duplicate it. GTC, you already saw, that's the Great to Connect. MCH Biz. So I did one called MCH Biz, and I haven't used it in a while, so I have to type it out. That is, oh, hey, you got a minute to chat business, because that's one of my invite lines. MCH Biz, right? I can do that after I'm done. So what are other ideas? My DMO. Okay. I'll do one of my favorites, actually, CHTPA. So a lot of people, I'll ask them, right? Remember I said CLB. If I type CLB, how are you enjoying your Clubhouse experience, right? So they'll tell me, and then you know what they'll also say? Here's what I'm doing, and what about you, right? Boom. When they ask that, CHTPA. My main goal here is to create meaningful, CHTPA means Clubhouse 3-pronged approach. I have a 3-pronged approach to Clubhouse to make it effective. Number 1, soak it up and learn. Number 2, host and mod rooms and help people. Number 3, make friends and network. And by the way, when I do all that, you know what? I'm meeting some incredible people who are also attracted to my core business, ... And then some people are like, that's awesome. By the way, what is your core business, right? So anyway, I've just really utilized this text replacement. I had one good idea, one good paragraph, and then I use it 20 times, right? Here's one, N stack. Some people were, I was in biohacking rooms and they're like, what's that stack you're taking? Because I was talking about it repeatedly. Hey, well, I take a stack. Again, I don't say, hey, by the way, you should take Protanum. Somebody asked about a supplement. And I'd say, well, I don't say I take a supplement. That sounds so stupid. Okay. I say, well, I'm on a biohacking protocol, right? Or I take a stack. I take a stack of 3 activators that are really the next wave, because I don't want to sell on Clubhouse on my first time. So here's what the stack is. I mean, look at that. Or people as they get to know, oh, you're doing biohacking. Well, tell me about what you're taking. Boom. N, right? 3 nerfs, NSTK. That's my triple N stack. So I take a stack every day and boom. And guess what? I've gotten customers. I've been able to use this paragraph, text replacement. I don't want to type this all the time. Are you kidding me? Right? I just want to be able to put it in because I've guided them down. Well, Seth, what product are you taking? NSTK, right? STCK. So really, really powerful. And then like, okay, I'll try that. So, does it make sense? So you have one good idea and then this is duplication, right? Now I'm duplicating it with you into the team. You can take my genius, right, on a couple of paragraphs, right, and then duplicate it. You can take your own genius, and then you're not having to come up with something every single time. And this is, by the way, creates patterns, right? It creates patterns, right? So that is text replacement. Is that awesome or what? Right? Text replacement is awesome. Let's go to a couple of other things. We've been talking about some of the inner workings of Clubhouse today. And what I haven't talked about is just, well, what do I do, right? What do I do? Like, how do I get in rooms? Well, number 1, you go to your hallway and then you start getting in rooms that interest you, right? I sat in this room, by the way, with Daniel and the pivot queen, Kate, today for 5 hours modding with them. And unfortunately, there was one time where I was going to pop in, but everybody else, all the other mods kind of took it up, and I just didn't. So I didn't say one thing today. I was there to contribute, right? Some of it was during a family party, actually, so I put my phone down. We're just wrapping up. We can stop the oven and pull that out. Anyway, you know what? I have 10 or 12 new followers today from ClubHouse because my bio was doing work for me, right? But when you get in rooms, this is super important, and we're going to end this up, and I think we're going to give you a week to go test this stuff out, and then let's come back with some more questions, right? But this should really get you started. Get in rooms and do the following, okay? Number one, listen and think of great questions, okay? If you go to my 3-pronged approach, right, that text replacement that I just showed you, Mike Mingle here, 3-pronged approach. Soak it up, learn, and ask great questions, okay? Soak it up, learn, and ask great questions. And asking great questions is going to put more people hearing you, more people seeing your bio, more people following you, right? But it also is getting you to understand, like, you don't walk in the room and act like you own the room, right? You don't take it over. Nobody would do that in a real room of people. And if they did, everybody'd be so turned off that we'd all vacate the room or shun the person, right? I mean, there's a way. It's social interaction. So you get into rooms, and when you're new in ClubHouse, just get into rooms, learn as much as you can about subjects that you're interested in, and then learn to ask great questions and be really genuine about those questions. As you do that, then start hosting or modding your own rooms, okay? Start collaborating with people to mod in their rooms. I've done that. I've modded with people, with travel experts in their rooms, just because I wanted to help them, right? I'll help, I've helped people launch their own rooms, and it's not really my thing. They're not my tribe, but it got me experience, right? And actually we become friends, right? So start hosting and modding rooms and putting those together. Collaborate. So when I do a biohacking room, I do a room every week on ClubHouse, Thursdays, 5 p.m. Eastern, called Younger Next Year. We talk about health span, lifespan, and biohacking. And I bring anywhere from 3 to 12 other moderators. Some are from other network marketing companies even, okay? Most are biohackers, coaches, wellness coaches, physicians, doctors, PhDs, thought leaders, right? Because all of those people coming to my room helps my room have more people come to it. So if I just did rooms by myself, honestly, and if you just do a room by yourself, unless you're really, really, really big, and the algorithm loves you because you've got, thousands upon tens of thousands of followers, you're not going to have big rooms, right? That's why I chose to get in a room today that averaged about 180 people for 7 hours, 180 people. And I was on the stage, and that's why I had 10 or 12 people follow me today. And I didn't even speak. I didn't have a chance to speak, by the way. All right. It just wasn't there. And the subjects they were talking about, legal stuff and this platform, wasn't anywhere I could contribute. So I listened, and did the best I could. Right. But host your rooms, moderate other rooms, collaborate with people, and then just make a network. Make so many friends on ClubHouse with even speaking. I'm going to say speak, because you'll get people to know you, like you, and trust you. Okay. They'll look at you differently. Right. But you can just connect with people and work and Eileen does this, work the room, right? Look at all the other people in the room, start clicking on their bio as you're listening to this, and start networking with this. Mary Lynn does this. Mary Lynn Lawrence does a ton of this. She might be, but you're in a room that you're interested in, and maybe you have expertise in, but you're not on the stage. Look around the room. These are the people that could be in your tribe if you were speaking. So guess what? Instead of waiting to speak on the stage, start talking to them right now. And then, by the way, when you get on the stage, like, they start following you, and then you are on the stage, they start following you to that room. That's one of the powerful things about Clubhouse is I have people who come every single week to hear my younger next year room. Like they're there I see some of the same people there every week. They're not buying from me yet, but I've created a little tribe because they love that content, right? So with that, I'll show you one other thing, and then we're probably got to end on this Independence Day observed. Let's.
Can I ask you a quick question, Seth?
Yes, go ahead, Eileen.
So if you're in a room with someone choosing to use essential oils or Herbalife or supplements, how do you emotionally go when you know that that isn't the most effective process for them to get what their goal is?
I don't worry about it. It's just like, that's what they're doing. That's where they're tuned in, right? So I'm just really respectful. It's like you want to make as many friends in our industry as you can. Eileen, you want to have friends who are being successful in 20 other companies right now. Because when those companies go down, like I've got one of those friends that's coming with me to LifeVantage Corporate later this week. He's starting on Protandim this week, and we're going to see where his interests lie, right? But I wouldn't have ever had that conversation. He and I went to lunch 10 years ago, and this is the first chance. And he was using a different product that he's no longer using because that company's no longer in business, right? And we were just friends, right? So I don't worry about it too much. There's so many good things. I mean, are essential oils the answer for everything? No. But I still use essential oils, right? So I can build on that commonality. I mean, here's what I would do. Hey, what are you using? Oh, I use this and this and this. Awesome. Do you know what? I'm going to get more out of our relationship if they know that I use essential oils than if I think essential oils are limited, right? So, I mean, I'm happy to have people. Now I guard, like there was somebody who came to my room recently. They asked a question. And then they said, well, as long as we're all talking about specific products, we've been talking about Apple Watch. We've been talking about tracking your sleep. So we've been talking about Apple Watch, the Aura Ring, right? And some of these sleep technologies. And this guy then decided to go off about I'm not going to say which company, about his company's product. Well, as long as I noticed that you guys are talking about products. So what do you guys think about ABC product? It would be like me going and saying, into a room of doctors and saying, well, how do all of you feel about Protandim as a strategy? I have not used that strategy just because it just doesn't sit well with me, right? Now I'm all day, I'm totally comfortable saying, hey, where are you in reading the body of research about NRF2 activation or genomics, or even more specifically, NRF2 activation, right? That's not a shameless plug, right? But so I'm always really cautious about that. So I'm not going to have that guy mod in any of my rooms because I know he's just a little too loose with his company name, right? But the people who work with me know that they know I'm hot to trot about NRF2. I talk to many of them. I do, I semi-recruit them, but then I'm super professional about it. So it's one of those professional respect things, Eileen, where, hey, they've got some good, they should keep every ounce, literally ounce of good that they've got. And if I've got a chance to add to it at some time, awesome. And if I don't, that's okay too. There may be a point in that room where I might be able to say something like, depending on the question. Again, you're in a conversation. It's like, can you imagine going to a party, and one blabbermouth who knows everything, just like hogs, you've been there, or conversations or a dinner or a lunch with girlfriends or your church or whatever, where somebody knows everything about everything, or they're an authority about everything. And you think about, is it that person that people really know, like, and trust? Not necessarily. Sometimes it's the person that says the least, right? It's like this is from John Maxwell, by the way, 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership. But it's like when E.F. Hutton speaks, right? Remember those old commercials? When Hutton speaks, people listen, right? You want to be that person. You want to be that authority. So you just, I don't worry. I don't worry about what anybody else is doing. And if I get a chance, tactfully, and if it's the right thing, we're in a room talking about supplements, and everybody's, talking about their favorite supplement. I might say, I'm going to be respectful, because again, nobody wants to be around the person who knows more about everything than everybody else and is the authority. The authority is granted, right? Influence is granted based on the value that you've brought them. So I'm happy to be in with, like, Haley Hobson is a mover and a shaker on, on ClubHouse. She's probably in the 50,000s. I was working with her when she was at 5,000 and 7,000, right? She was about 7,000 people ahead of me, and she lives on there, right? She lives on there, and she's got 57,000 people, and I've got, I'm pushing 3,700, right? And I'm pushing to get to 10,000. But she's in doTERRA. She's a top diamond director in doTERRA. And she talks about her oils and she talks about her recipes, right? But she does it tactfully. So I'm okay with it, right? And she's okay with me talking about what I talk about because of the way we do it. So we have that professional respect. So.
Okay, thank you.
Awesome. Here's the deal with ClubHouse. Just get there and start using it. Do my 3-pronged approach. Be there to listen, learn, and ask questions. That's number 1. Number 2, mod, host, and collaborate in rooms. And number 3, network and make friends. And if you do that, you'll have more people than you've ever had in any other platform, frankly. Last thing I'll show you today, upper left-hand corner, search. You can use this search button to find things. Robin asked about biohacking. We did that earlier. Awesome. If I'm going to host a room about biohacking, about longevity. I'm going to look up longevity just for the fun of longevity. All these people are interested in longevity. So guess what? I might reach out to them. Florence Curry, owner and founder of Longevity Nutrition. Watch this. Okay, she must be new to the platform. Well, she actually not using it very often. Okay, that's okay. Who else is in longevity? Maybe that's not the best one. Maybe I'll go back to wellness or biohacking, right? Biohacking, and I'm interested. I've already collaborated with some of these people, by the way. Katya is a biohacker. Interesting. So I might just reach out and, she follows Biohacking Brittany on Instagram, who I follow, right? So it's showing you these connections. What was her name? How do I say? Yeah. Oops. Exclamation point GTC. Great to connect with you on, right? I might say, I host a biohacking room weekly, would love to collaborate. Boom. CLB. Send. I just did a new connection. That's the lead right there. When she gets back to me, I'll start to nurture that. Does that make sense? So you can use the search bar. You can use the search bar if you want to develop a country. If you want to develop women in leadership. If you want to develop a language, right? If you want to target, Oregon, right? If I typed in Oregon, because I'm going to Oregon on a trip, boom. There's all these people that have something to do with Oregon, right? So anyway, you can use the search bar to get more done. So with that, we'll get this recording up. But this is just something. Here's the thing about ClubHouse. You can be rocking ClubHouse faster than you and monetizing it, if you want to call it monetizing. For me, monetizing is doing the 3-pronged approach, having successful relationships and people being attracted to your product and your business. I'm monetizing ClubHouse right now because it's just what we do as networking anyway, except we're just able to get into conversations faster and more targeted, right? And we can be really targeted, right? And get moving faster. I couldn't do this at church this fast, right? Because at church, they don't have rooms that say health and wellness, right? And I just walk in and start talking about those. So just get out and use it. And it's super powerful. So thanks for being here.